Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. And in today's lesson, we are going to look at the solution to the team assignment, just as you can see on your screens on the topic, okay, trigonometry. So trigonometry, okay, team assignment is solution. Okay, so without much ado, let's quickly go and look at what the questions, okay, making our assignment and the solution. I'll walk you through the solution. I've gone through your various submissions, and I'll make sure I factor all the concerns that came to bear in your submission. So please stick and stay with me whilst I walk you through that. And if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, okay, subscribe, like, and share. So quickly, let's go and look at what's the solution to the first one. So this was the first question. From the top of a lighthouse 100 meters high, the angles of depression of two yachts are observed at 48 degrees and 36 degrees, okay, respectively, indirectly. Okay, they didn't say respectively. So here, any of them goes. Okay, but you have to take into consideration, okay, the real life situation, how is going to be the true picture. The foot of the lighthouse and the sea, okay, the foot of the lighthouse and the sea level are on the same, okay, horizontal, and the two yachts are on the same side of the lighthouse. Okay, so A, we are supposed to illustrate this information in a diagram. Then B, find correct to the nearest meter. So you know, as you read questions, you underline the salient parts. So this is so critical. Okay, the distance between the two, okay, yachts. Okay, so in this case, this is what we are supposed to do. And okay, take note, this particular question, okay, this question is the question 4 of WASI 2025. Okay, the Ghana, okay, version of WASI. That is the May June one that just written, the recently written, okay, WASI. Okay, the recent one. Okay, so take note. If you're able to do it, then it means indirectly you have arrived. So first thing that you write after reading the question, underlining the salient part is solution. So after that, okay, what do we do? So here we are told that we have two yachts, okay, on the same horizontal level. So maybe I decided to use yacht 2, yacht 1. Okay, then this is my horizontal, and we are looking at where a lighthouse. So your lighthouse is this. Okay, let me see if I can pick the laser that you can see. Okay, so this happens to be my lighthouse, okay, which I know its height is what, 10 meters. Okay, so in this case, okay, here we were not given any point to label, okay, or help us with the labeling. So you can label any of the points, okay, use your own representation. I decided to use, okay, T for the top, okay, of the lighthouse, then F for the foot of the lighthouse, okay, and in line with what? The two yachts. And I said I am representing, okay, the first yacht by yacht Y1, the second one by what? Y2. Okay, the other, okay, how you put them here doesn't really matter because they didn't say respectively. So it could be here, your Y1 could be here, your Y2 could be here, or any other letter could be here. But how you place your angles, very critical. So remember the angles that you are looking at angles of what? Depression. And for angles of depression, okay, take notes. Angles of depression, I've told you, it means you are here, you are at the top, and you are observing these two yards. So what you have here, your horizontal line, okay, what we have in the broken line form, please, that must be indicated. So you should always let us see your angles of depression, which later you more or less go and get the angles of elevation, okay, using the concept of what? Alternate angles. Okay, so please take note. So here, okay, from this horizontal line at T, if I move 36 degrees, that's, okay, when I'm able to observe yacht 1. Okay, if I move from this horizontal, I move 48 degrees, that's when I'm able to observe yacht 2. So that is what I have here. Okay, so the whole of this is for this and this angle put together. That's the 48. It's not representing the 38 is for this angle. Okay, so if you see this diagonal line. It happens to be, okay, a transversal line. So this, okay, Z shape here, the angle here will be the same as the angle here. So that becomes the angles of elevation at what, or angle of elevation at what, yacht 1. So the angle that yacht 1 must tend to side the top of what, of the lighthouse, will be the same angle that the person who is here, okay, is supposed to tend to okay, observe down, to observe yacht 1. So it's the same explanation for, okay, the yacht 2, the angle that you have there. Okay, now with this information, okay, so indirectly I've indicated all the information provided in the question. And the question is asking us to find, illustrate the information on the, okay, in a diagram. So this will be it for the A. Now B, we are supposed to find correct to the nearest meter, the distance between the two here. So the distance here, we are looking at this distance. Okay, so what I have done is to represent this, okay, distance by x and this distance by what, y. Okay, so ordinarily, like you were advising the main lesson on trig, okay, angles of elevation and depression for that matter. Okay, you were told that extract the possible right angles that you can, or that could be extracted. So here I decided not to extract because I can see them, okay, directly and use this main diagram. Okay, so if you are not matured, extract, then use that one, like you were advised. So in this case, always don't forget to indicate your 90. Okay, and some of you, in fact, forgot, in fact, I should say most of the groups, the teams, okay, forgot to indicate your horizontal line that will help us know the angles of depression that you are measuring. So please take note. You cannot forgo that. This is not the first time. So let this be the last time. Don't repeat this. Okay. All right, so if this is x and this is y, okay, then from the smaller triangle TFY sub 2, so from this triangle TFY sub 2, I can say that tan 48 will be equal to, remember I've told you, once you have two triangles, okay, with the same side, it means that you have to form two equations, okay, using this common side based on the common size or one each. So I will make use of this and this side. So tan 48 will be equal to, tan is opposite over, okay, adjacent. So opposite will be 100, then over adjacent, which is x. And I told you, in your ratio, never put the units there because in the end, they will cancel. So take note, some of you did that and you didn't watch your back as a team. Okay, so at this point, I cross multiply. If I cross multiply, I'm going to get s tan 48 degrees is equal to 100. Okay, then what do? I know I can solve for x. So x will be equal to, I write it again and divide, okay, both sides by tan 48 degrees. So that's what I have here. Okay, remember I told you, don't write the approximation of this one just below it. You can use your calculator to do the approximation of the entire 100 over tan 48 there. So that will give you only one approximation. And you know, the more you approximate, the more you move from the accurate answer or the precise answer. So if you approximate, you are going to get what? 4 dp approximation to be what you have here. You label this as equation 1. From the second right angle triangle, that is the bigger one. Okay, TFY sub 1. Okay, tan 36 degrees will be equal to, again, 100 over, so this time around, you know that it will be this distance, so it will be x plus y. So 100 over x plus y. What do? You cross multiply again. So that gives us what? X plus y in brackets. Failure to do so will be costly. Okay, times 36 degrees is equal to 100. Okay, so x plus y will be equal to, so you write it again, then you divide. So again, x plus y will be equal to this. Okay, using your calculator, it gives you this. Don't forget, okay, to indicate your approximation as well because you have approximated. Your approximation, okay, must be 4 dp. So now that I know my x, okay, someone can attach the unit here as well, just as I attach the unit there. Okay, failure to do so will not be costly because you are not concluding with that. Okay, but you can equally bring it. So at this point, I know, once I know x, I know what my y. Okay, so here, what do? I decided to make y the subject before carrying out my substitution. So if I made y as a subject, I call this equation 2. Then I substituted equation 1 into equation 2 because I know x. Okay, or somebody can choose not to label these two equations. When you come here, then you come and substitute your x, or even at this point, you could have substituted your x, then solve for what's y. But to make your presentation coherent, if you do this, it's better. So if you substitute the x, which is this value, and you come and subtract from what, that you get y to be equal to what you have there. Remember, y is the distance that you are looking for. So on that note, I can draw my conclusion. Therefore, the distance, okay, between the two yards, okay, will be equal to 48 meters. Remember, you were asked to take it to the nearest, okay, meter. So that's exactly, you indicate your approximation, nearest what, meter in brackets. So you don't forget the unit, you don't, okay, forget your approximation, okay, that you need to indicate in what, in bracket. So that will be it for the question 1A, which happens to be question 4 of the WASI, okay, paper that I mentioned. So now let's go and look at what the question 2. That is where a lot of thinking, reasoning, okay, was supposed to be in play. Okay, some of you, in fact, most of you were able to do A up to what, BI. But the I don't know, intentionally, some of you, okay, maybe because you couldn't handle it, you didn't supply the answer to that. But no issues. That's the more reason why we are going through. So that's where we need to dot any I's, we dot, we cross, okay, all the T's that must be crossed. So no, here we are told a telecommunication mast, okay, and a pillar stand on the same horizontal level from the midpoint O. So here names are given, so you have to go straight by the names. Between the foot of the pillar J and the foot of the mast, okay, H, the angle of elevation of the top of the mast, okay, is 70. From the point O, the angle of elevation of the top of the pillar T is 28 degrees. If the pillar is 10 meters high, okay, A, represent the information in a diagram. Then B, okay, calculate correct to the nearest whole number, I, the height of the mast, then II, the length TS. Okay, so let's go and get the picture. Okay, that will take care of the A that we have there. So we are told we have two verticals, okay, one being a mast and one being a pillar. Okay, so you have the two verticals, but we are told, okay, the midpoint of the foot of the two verticals, okay, is where we are supposed to label as O. Okay, so the foot of the vertical, and I'm calling this vertical that I have here, the J is for the pillar. Okay, and the foot of what? So this, I'm taking this as what? My mast. So its foot, okay, in the question we are supposed to label it as what? As H. And the top of the pillar is supposed to be T, as indicated here. The top of the mast is supposed to be what? S, okay, as indicated here as well. So this will be my two lines and with these 2 points. So now we are going to bring in the angles of what? Elevation. So at O, if you want to sight the top of what? Of the pillar, okay, the angle is what? 28 degrees. If you want to sight the top of what? Of the mast, the angle is 70. And please take note, because the distance here is equal to the distance here, okay, the bigger your angle of elevation, okay, the taller, okay, your vertical that you have here. So that's the more reason why you can see that in my diagram, this is looking longer, okay, than this. So some of you, you gave it the same height. If they are the same height, then it means the angles here, the angles of elevation must be the same because they have the same distances. Okay, O is midway. So take note of this very important information. So indirectly, we are trying to say that the bigger your angle of elevation, the taller, okay, your object that you are sighting. Okay, so take note of that. Okay, so at this point that I have made this information, vital information, clear to you. So this is what we are going to do. So we steadily can obviously see two right angle triangle, a smaller one and a bigger one. Okay, so this will be it for A. Now let's go to B. It's B that will help us analyze the diagram that we have here. So if I represented, okay, this length OG or GO by X, then also this will be OH. I don't need a rocket scientist to tell me that because you were told that O is midway. So the distance here should be equal to this. So if you represent this by X, this must also really be X. They should have the same value. And I represented, okay, this by h, what I'm looking for, okay, at this point, the height of the mast, okay, at a point. So what do I do from this right angle triangle? That is TGO. Okay, I can say that tan 28 degrees will be equal to opposite, which is this, then, okay, over x. And I can solve for x there. So I solved for x just as we did in the question one. Okay, and that gave us what? Okay, exactly what we have here to be our x. Okay, so once I know x, I am more than able to find what? The h. Okay, so again, I am going to, okay, use the appropriate trig ratio to get a relation for x, okay, or h, I should say. So in this case, from this, okay, right angle triangle, I can say that tan 70 degrees will be equal to opposite, which is h over what? Over x. So that's what we have there. So my height will be equal to x tan 70 degrees, but I know x. So I go and substitute. Okay, so that would be equal to x, which is this value, and 70. Okay, and okay, if you feed your calculator with that, you end up getting what we have here. That is 4dp. Okay, however, okay, like you can see in the question, it's even in bold. That's the more reason why I didn't underline. So you are supposed to convert what we have there to the nearest whole number. So height of the mass will be equal to 52, okay, meters. Don't forget your unit. Okay, and then you put in bracket your approximation, okay, nearest meter, or better still, you can use the approximate, okay, sign. Okay, so take note, you can use this, okay, sign. So the sign. So if you use the sign, then you can choose not to indicate your approximation. Okay, take note of that. All right, so that will be it for the I. The I is where the issue is. But ordinarily, if you have studied the diagram carefully, you would have realized that, okay, there shouldn't be any issue at all. Okay, so let's quickly go and deal with that one too, the I. Okay, quickly, let's go and look at the solution to that. So the I, we were supposed to, okay, use the same diagram to do our analysis. However, I'm moving on to the next page. So I have imposed. So it's basically the same diagram, only I've introduced some broken lines. Okay, those are my introduction, okay, to help me deal with the question. Okay, so I'm going to explain what we have there. So let me pick my laser, okay, pointer so that you can clearly see. So this is the diagram that we are looking for, okay, this length, the length of what? TS. Okay, if you study this carefully, okay, this diagram carefully, you can see that you can draw a power line from this point to meet this, okay, mast, okay, at an angle of 90. So meeting it at, perpendicular to that. So you indicate your 90. So if you are able to do that, then it means you are looking for this distance. Okay, and in this distance, I can consider a right angle triangle here. Okay, so if you consider this right angle triangle, and I've labeled this point of contact here, the meeting point, intersection A. So it's like now my entire mast here broken down into two. Okay, AS, then AH. Okay, but you should know, you don't need a rocket scientist to tell you that because this one is parallel to this, okay, the height of the pillar, okay, will be the same as what the AH that you have here. Okay, so the height of what? The mast will be made up of what? The AH, okay, then plus what? The AS. Okay, however, you have found the height of what? Of the mast. So if you know this to be 10, then you know, okay, the remaining portion that we have here. So you just go and subtract 10 from what we found there. That is the I. Okay, so what we did in I, that gave us what's this. And don't use this one, use the 4dp. Don't come and use the one that you took. Remember, I've told you. So use this, okay, right approximation that you have there. So that will give us what? Okay, the 41.67, okay, 26 meters for only this. That's if you subtract it from, okay, your, the length of what? The height of the mast that you found in I. This will be the remaining. Okay, so once you have this, then you can see that in this right angle triangle, you know, okay, one of its measures, which is this side. Okay, now let's go and see. This side equally is known. Because you know this is x, this is x, this side will also be, okay, they have the same length. That is, AT will have the same length as what? GH or HG. So if this is x, the whole of this will be 2x. So it means the whole of this will also be 2x. Okay, so let me maybe write it there for you to follow properly. So it means the entire region here, line here, will also give us what? 2, okay, x. Okay, so you have a right angle triangle, okay, and okay, one side has this measure, this side also has that measure, and the side that you are looking for is the hypotenuse. So obviously, you know, x is known. So if you form your equation, the only, okay, direct unknown will be this. Okay, this one is known. So what do we do? Okay, I'll come and write from, okay, triangle SAT. So triangle SAT SAT. Okay, by the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, I know my hypotenuse squared should be equal to, okay, the sum of the squares of the opposite side, that's the length. Okay, so it should be equal to 2x squared. And one of you, I think you got the problem was you didn't put the whole of this in brackets. So the failure to do that will be costly. In that case, you will get, okay, 2x squared instead of 4x squared as your result if bracket is not there. Then plus, you know this unit, this measure, you put it there. So the rest will just be algebra. Okay, you know this measure, you can put the square value there. I decided not to for now. Okay, so that will give me 4 into, I know my x, we found x. So I substituted the x, the 4dp version of x, okay, then square. Okay, then I fed my calculator with this. That gave me the result. My calculator with it, that gave me this result. Okay, and you can see that I approximated each of them to 4dp. So I indicated my approximation. Then I came to add the entire, okay, whatever that I have here, that gave me this. And that was exact 4dp. So there is no approximation. But I'm not looking for ts squared, I'm looking for ts. So therefore, I come and take the square root of both sides. So tx, okay, the length of ts will be equal to root of, okay, then that will give you, by your calculator, you get this. But you were asked to correct to the nearest whole number. So to the nearest whole number, this gives us 56 watt meters. And that will be it. So another problem that I saw from your presentation, that gave me the hint that you used AI, is that, okay, so please take note, okay, our part of the world here, when you are talking of length, so the length of maybe TQ, we don't just write TQ. Okay, we don't just write TQ. We are supposed to write it TQ with this. So if you ignore the absolute value sign in you finding any of what the length or dealing with any of the length, I will know that, okay, you use AI, okay, probably as a guide, and you couldn't refine it to meet, okay, the demands of how you are supposed to present your solution, okay, in, okay, our part of the world. Okay, so on that note, I would want to say thank you very much, okay, for your attention, okay, and your time. And please, if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay, subscribe, like, and share. May the good Lord continue to bless us all. Bye-bye.